Xbox is joining forces with Nintendo. We'll dive deeper into Xbox's DualSense killer, and when you buy this monitor, you get a free Xbox. And me and Jimmy are Xbox ready for the Game Awards. Let's discuss. If you want to make sure that you're Xbox ready this holiday season, I have links down in the description below with all sorts of stuff down there. Consoles, controllers, headsets, TVs, washing machines. What is up, guys, and welcome back to another weekend edition of Xbox Ready. You know the drill. We gather up a couple stories, discuss them, so you are up to date on all things Xbox to make sure that you are Xbox ready. And to help me out with that is Jimmy Champagne, my partner in crime. We give the PlayStation perspective over on his channel, PS Ready. The Game Awards are tomorrow, but we're filming this the day before, and I'm excited, dude. I'm freaking pumped. Hopefully they give us some juicy stuff to talk about. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens, but we'll see.
Yes, we are probably going to get some Diablo info because Diablo has been tweeting at LeBron saying that Lilith is coming, and also Capital One and Allstate Insurance, I noticed yesterday.
The Captain, yeah, the biggest Diablo fans for whatever reason. Yeah, you know when LeBron gets involved, something's afoot. So stick around for the end of the video to see our experience at the Game Awards. Now it's getting to the point where it's not an Xbox Ready video without talking about this Xbox Activision Blizzard situation. There's always a bit of news trickling out, a new headline to talk about. Xbox has agreed with Nintendo, if this deal goes through, that they're gonna bring Call of Duty to the Switch for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's something that we knew that they were talking about couple weeks ago. They were like, we want to bring it to more consoles, more ways to play Call of Duty. We don't want to restrict it to just Xbox because that doesn't make sense at all.
They're gonna need their own lobbies. If you're playing on Nintendo Switch at that 30 FPS, baby, you're gonna get destroyed by both controller and keyboard and mouse.
We spoke to some pretty interesting people about this because I was thinking, you know, is it going to be a streaming thing like we saw with the Resident Evil 4 remake that they're bringing to Switch via cloud, or is it going to be native? And they're like, yeah, dude, it's going to be native. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm interested to see how Call of Duty on Switch is going to look, especially after Pokemon Violet and Scarlet came out, and it can't even run that.
I mean, on the one hand, that engine is very scalable. Like, I feel like they could get it running on the Switch because they got it running. They got like Black Ops 2, I think, running on the Wii U. That's like the last Call of Duty game to come out on the Wii U. So they can scale the games down to that console. But on the other hand, you're going to need a huge SD card to be able to download this game because the Switch, I think, has like 32 gigs or 64 gigs on board.
When I picked up my Switch, I immediately also got another SD card because I got my Switch on Black Friday, so I was like, let me just expand the memory right here, right now, when prices are cheaper. At least with Warzone 2, it's not like the biggest file size ever. I think it's like 32 right now for everything. Maybe by the time Call of Duty rolls around for the Switch, because obviously nothing's set in stone yet. It's not a done deal because the deal hasn't been approved yet to merge the companies. But I wonder if they're gonna like roll out a Switch Pro or like a freaking something like a Switch whatever, like the next evolution of Switch in order to accommodate this.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll call it like the Switch 2 or something, like make it actually scream to people that this is a sequel to the Switch instead of doing what they did with the Wii U, which is be like, oh, this looks like an add-on for the Wii, and then no one bought it.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, it's all posturing, right? It's all posturing because like these regulators and Sony, they're making it seem like, oh, Microsoft, once this deal goes through, they're gonna make Call of Duty exclusive to just Xbox, and then Xbox is kind of being clever and being like, well, no, we are really for real about bringing it to even more platforms. To Nintendo, they said that they entered into the same agreement with Steam to keep it on Steam storefronts and not like prop up their own launcher service.
I don't know. Like, that's fine. That's not really a flex in any way because I'm sure they've noticed that when you put games on the Xbox store or like the Epic Game Store exclusively, people on PC just don't play them. They go, well, that's enough of that.
The only PC games I play through Xbox are the Game Pass ones for me personally.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they brought Game Pass to Steam, like let you subscribe to Game Pass because you can play the EA Play games for free on Steam if you have EA Play. Like I was looking up Dead Space 3 yesterday and just to see like how much it cost, and it said you can play this for free if you have EA Play. So they could just bait Game Pass into Steam.
Yeah, like link your accounts like you can with Discord and other services like that.
Right.
And that would be cool.
So far, this generation is playing out exactly like the Xbox One generation, where there's a lot of games on the horizon that people have to look forward to, and they just haven't materialized yet. So once those games come out, I'll be happy to not feel this way. But until then, I'm like, let's just get the games out.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that.
Well, I talked about this in last video, but I'm wondering if you've seen this patent that Microsoft has filed for a controller with an LCD screen on it in the front, like kind of like a DualSense, but for Xbox.
I had seen it. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what you would put there, like health bar or something, or like.
And that's what's so confusing to me, because on the little schematic that it has, the little picture that they included with this patent, on the second page there is writing on the LCD screen, and then one of them says like you're connected to a game console, and the other one says you're connecting to a game streaming console only. I'm like, wait a minute. What, like, is it just gonna tell me when I'm connected to a console or if I'm connected to like my phone playing on cloud gaming? The possibilities that this screen brings, especially if it's a touch screen, are way more than what this patent implies.
That's kind of interesting because when you're playing a game, you're not really looking at your controller. So I'm kind of curious what the plan here is. Are they just trying to like tell you more info instead of putting it on your TV screen? They're moving it to the controller. The DualSense has a light bar on the touchpad, and the way that's used kind of in some games is to be like a health bar. So when you die in God of War, it turns red, right? But you're never looking at the controller when you're playing.
Battery life is concerned because, especially as we know, Xbox wireless controllers still run on interchangeable batteries, AA or battery packs. It looks like also that they're doing away with the share button with this patent.
Wow.
So, because you still have the start button, you still have the select button, and in the middle, I assume that's the Xbox guide button.
Interesting. I use the share button so much on the DualSense. I recorded like my whole playthrough of The Last of Us Part 1 basically, but I also been recording Callisto Protocol. I took a lot of screenshots in God of War Ragnarok. So I would like to see that stay on the Xbox controller. I would like them to just make the DualSense but Xbox and remove the touchpad. The only reason the touchpad's on the DualSense is because they have to make that console backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. So like they needed that touchpad to come over, but Xbox doesn't have that problem, thankfully for them. So if they could get a controller out that has the haptics of the DualSense and also the adaptive triggers, I think that would go a long way with people, because even in the Callisto Protocol, which is a third-party game, the DualSense features are awesome.
Yeah, whether or not this thing is actually going to be cool, I feel like depends a lot on whether or not it's a touchscreen, because I see a lot of potential of like, instead of bringing up the guide on your Xbox, like bringing up the guide on this LCD touchscreen controller and then navigating it that way.
So you're not getting interrupted while you're playing.
Yeah, or like you get notifications on the controller and you see that, because being honest, like the screen is not big enough for anything super significant for it to be like a console, like the next Keystone or something, playing cloud gaming with just this controller, you know, like, so it's more of like a supplemental thing.
I completely agree. It'd be cool if that like you could have mappable buttons there though. So like you have 3 virtual buttons, I don't know, and you can map one to like healing and something, or like map one to reload, or the quick reload, or like, I don't know, there's a million things you could do with it. It seems a little like over engineered. Like I feel like they're going a little too far off the beaten path with it, right? Like there's simple features you could do before that.
As a reminder, this is just a patent that they filed, so no, a controller is not coming out soon.
Ray said it's coming, and it's coming in 5 days, and if it doesn't, you should yell at him at Stay Xbox Ready on Twitter.
This is just the patent, bro. It's just the patent. Hopefully we'll see an Elite Series 3 before we see anything more about this controller. I'm very excited to see what they do with that, because I've been loving my Elite Series Core controller. Next up, we got one of Jimmy's favorite topics of all time to talk about. Cannot get enough of this.
I didn't know what it was, but I know.
Just eating that up, baby.
What's streaming now?
And we know smart TVs exist, obviously.
Right.
But I didn't know about smart monitors. Samsung has a smart monitor that includes the Samsung Gaming Hub app with Xbox Cloud Gaming. And I don't know if it'll be on sale by the time this video goes up, but it's on sale right now as we're speaking for $400. And it's a UHD 4K display.
So you're buying a high quality PC gaming monitor.
It's not like super high quality. It's like 60 hertz too. It's 60 hertz, which is acceptable because, I mean, for cloud gaming, you can't get past 60 frames anyway.
Yeah. So they're banking on like a college kid who just got his new HP Stream. I don't know what it's called. Whatever. What's like the most generic laptop? Like an Acer. They just got an Acer.
A Chromebook
from Staples. They saved $100 with a coupon. And they're like, shoot, I need a monitor for when I'm writing up my essays at in college in my dorm room. And then they're like, oh, this monitor is so sick because it also lets me connect an Xbox controller to it and stream games from the cloud.
I mean, you sort of get a free Xbox with cloud gaming, and not really, not really.
It's kind of weird because like you're buying a monitor and Xbox cloud streaming works on a PC, so like you could just connect the PC and stream from
right, especially because like when I imagine my monitor, I imagine I'm at my desk with my Xbox, with my PC. It's like, why not just connect that stuff and use cloud gaming? With the smart TV, I understand because it's like I have the TV in another room. Maybe I don't have a room in my entertainment system for anything cloud gaming. So having that app on there, it's like, that makes sense to me. But having a monitor, because when this thing is not on sale, it's $400 right now on the sale, but it's $729.
What?
For a regular price.
Who is this for?
You know, it's like being marketed as like this general like entertainment kind of situation with the cloud gaming app on it. I never heard of a smart monitor before. I associate monitors being connected with something else that has all the apps on it that you would want on a smart device anyway. So I was like, okay, interesting. But maybe this would be cool. You use it to play your PS5 on, but you also have Xbox cloud gaming, so you don't have to buy an Xbox or something like that.
Yeah. It seems like they just like used the right processor in this monitor, right? And they were like, well, I mean, it's in there. We may as well just include the interface that our TV has. And at that point, it's like the app will already be on there. So it's not like you're buying it for that feature. It's just like a bonus add-on.
It looks like a nice thing to have if you have like a cool tech office.
Maybe or like a video editor or something.
Yeah, something like that. Because the display, like the design itself looks like...
Oh, yeah, it looks like it works with a MacBook. So it's like a single cable solution monitor, right? Like where...
Yeah, only USB-C. So, like you said...
So yeah, like, this is literally a video editing monitor.
Me and Jimmy, they're going to have an exhibition, the Samsung guys, for their cloud gaming Samsung TVs. Maybe we'll check it out and see it. Maybe we'll update this video at the end with like, and we like love it.
I doubt it.
All right, so as me and Jimmy said earlier, I'm tacking on my experience at the Game Awards. And now before the Game Awards actually started, I got to experience for the first time this Xbox cloud gaming app that they have on Samsung TVs. They had a little installation at the mixer I was at before the show, and I thought I would try it out. I was like, okay, I talk a lot about this, but I've never actually used the Samsung Gaming Hub app. And in terms of my experience, it was pretty much par for the course when it comes to cloud gaming. They did have the TV directly connected via Ethernet, so there was nothing crazy about the graphics or the frame rate. It ran pretty smooth. There were a couple of blips here and there, but like I said, pretty par for the course for a cloud gaming experience. This time around, I was mostly impressed by the input latency of the controller I was using while playing. I did talk a little bit about that with the Samsung rep that they had there, had some very interesting things to say. He was essentially saying that because it's built into the Samsung product and not because it's being run through a third-party device that's plugged into one of their TVs, they had a lot more control over that latency issue. The whole thing was set up via Bluetooth, so you take the controller, you Bluetooth it in with your TV like you would pair it with your Xbox or any other video game console. They even had a DualSense there because it's not just Xbox cloud gaming that's on the Samsung streaming app. It's, you know, NVIDIA GeForce Now. They have a couple of other game streaming apps that are on there as well. So you could potentially use pretty much any controller to play an Xbox game, which is kind of funny. And I even asked about Bluetooth headsets. You can pair that with your TV. Even if you're playing a multiplayer game, like I was playing Halo Infinite, I was playing Forza Horizon 5, you can pair an Xbox Stereo wireless headset with that TV and use it and chat with people online in Xbox Party Chat like you would on your Xbox console. I thought that was very interesting. So as of right now, this app is only on the Samsung 2022 TVs and the 2021. They didn't really have much to say what the future holds for Xbox cloud gaming on Samsung TVs. Obviously, cloud gaming itself is still technically in beta. They didn't have really that much of a clear idea, but he was saying, well, we did older models starting with 2021, so, you know, the natural progression of things would be to bring it to older models like 2020s and like roll it out to all Samsung TVs via just like your smart device. Overall, I was pretty impressed with the experience. My main #1 issue with cloud gaming has been, for sure, controller latency. That's made me shy away from games like Master Chief Collection on cloud gaming, Halo Infinite, any shooters, any action-packed games, and I'm glad to see that that's been improving over the past couple of months, for sure. Now for the Game Awards itself. Okay, Okay, so there was a lot to be excited about this past Game Awards. I thought it was a really good show, really enjoyable. It ended with some drama, that one random guy going up after the Game of the Year, going up to the mic and getting arrested, saying something about Bill Clinton. There's a ton of games I'm excited for that they showed off as well. Hades 2, Diablo 4, Armored Core, Judas. I was shook that Death Stranding 2 made an appearance as well. I was a little disappointed in Fire Emblem Engage. It kind of looks like live service-y. Lords of the Fallen looked really cool too, but you'll notice, like, okay, there's a ton of multi-plat games that are going to be available on your Xbox that they showed off, but Xbox was noticeably silent with their first-party stuff. They had no major announcements. The only exclusive game that I could really think of that they showed off the top of my head was Party Animals, and that game looks like a lot of fun. No hate, don't get me wrong, but there was just nothing super exciting from the Xbox fan perspective being showed at the Game Awards. Now, this is something that Jez Corden over at Windows Central was sort of prepping us for. He was talking on his podcast with Randall Thor a couple of weeks ago that he was kind of tempering his expectations, like there was not going to be any new announcements of like a release date for Starfield or Redfall because of this whole Activision Blizzard thing. Microsoft trying to make themselves look smaller, not like they're trying to, you know, steamroll the competition by buying Activision Blizzard. That was not confirmed. That was just him kind of theorizing of like, oh, you know, they might not show off anything because of this regulatory review of their acquisition. And lo and behold, they did not really show off anything that Xbox fans wanted to see. But if that's the case, then I kind of don't even want it anymore, man. I don't want the deal anymore. I want fanfare for Starfield, for Redfall, for Avowed, these new IPs that they have coming out. There aren't really proven commodities. And now when we're talking about Xbox, I'm barely even talking about those games anymore. I'm talking about like, oh, here's a new news about Activision Blizzard. And for those of you who watched the last video, I was getting ready for the Game Awards, and we got the news that FTC is suing Microsoft to block this Activision Blizzard acquisition, and that was the big news for Xbox of the day, and that is such a shame. Outside of that though, I had a really good time at the show. I had a really great night with Jimmy, met some really interesting people, got to talk to a lot of people in the industry. And again, it's not like it's a total loss if you own an Xbox, because a lot of the games that they showed are going to be multi-platform. But if you're expecting something cool from Xbox first party, a little disappointing for sure.